Hi, my name is Matt Edmonds. I am the Director of Admissions here at the Stetson Hatcher School of Business. Thank you for joining. Thank you for clicking in. Today we are joined by Drew, who is one of our full-time MBA students. So Drew, thank you very much for joining me today. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Drew Akins. Like Matt said, I'm a full-time MBA student here at the Stetson Hatcher School of Business at Mercer's Atlanta campus. Very happy to be here. I am almost halfway through with my MBA at this point, in the finals week right now.
Well, thank you for taking time away from your studies for finals.
Mm-hmm.
So talk a little bit about your undergraduate experience. Now, what was your degree and why did you really choose or an MBA? Was it an MBA a part of your undergraduate discussion, or was it something that came on a bit after?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Atlanta. However, I was a tennis player by trade, so I was recruited up to Duquesne University in Pittsburgh to play Division I tennis for them for 4 years. So quite far from home. But definitely a great experience there. Was an athlete, studied finance, so I definitely kept myself very busy. And coming out of undergrad, I worked for a couple of years for PNC and their asset management group, and then for Fiserv here in the Alpharetta area. I worked there last year in some financial technology and credit union solutions. So higher education, I think, has always kind of been on my mind. I've had many family members that have gone through higher education and sort of, stressed the importance of it. And I saw the MBA as a really good degree to kind of hone in on my leadership skills, make me a better, more well-rounded business leader. Having worked in finance for the last 3 years, I definitely wanted to take that next step, get those credentials so I can lead teams of my own.
So obviously, coming through all of this and through your journey and, obviously moving into the finance industry, and then obviously right now I'm going to actually take that step on an academic aspect. Obviously there are a lot of MBA programs out there. So why did you choose Mercer University?
So, I'm living here locally in Atlanta. I've since moved back here to home. I know Mercer has a fantastic reputation. I'll be honest with you. I first learned about Mercer's programs by driving on Peachtree Industrial on 141 near my home, and seeing the big billboard there that actually changed from the flexible Mercer MBA to promoting the MSBA program. So kudos to the marketing team there, because they definitely got my attention. But really, I saw Mercer as a great value degree, somewhere that is very well respected in certainly the Atlanta community and definitely the Southeast. I was able to speak with you, Matt, about my desires, my aspirations for the MBA program, and you and I talked last year, and I said, look, I really want to take that next step, but I want to graduate, at the top of my class, and I really want to push myself. And you said, let's try and get you done in 1 year. And I certainly appreciate that, because I definitely made that decision to step away from corporate America, from my salary and all that stuff, to come back to school full time for a year. So I knew making an investment in myself this year would be huge, but I wanted to make sure I could finish it and get back into the work world. So I definitely saw Mercer as a great local degree that would be well respected, that I could finish in a year, that I think I could really excel and really be a leader at this university. And also I have some aspirations in the healthcare community, and I think Mercer is very well known in that community as well.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad the billboard worked.
Yes.
We're glad to have you.
It definitely worked.
So going through it right now, you're halfway through your program, you're into finals. Mm-hmm. You're a full-time student, so you have a bit of a different experience than maybe our online students. So what has your experience been so far? And what within the actual program, but then also some of the relationships you may have built in and out of the classroom? Yeah,
so the full-time experience has been just phenomenal. It's more than I could have even imagined. I'm definitely very busy. I come down here 4 to 5 days a week, whether I'm, here for class or studying or doing group work. But, I think the full-time experience has given me that one-to-one instruction that I really need to grow. I think lucky for me, that just adds to the value of the MBA, is my class sizes so far have been small. Now, I understand that's partly a product of the times we're in, as well as with the kind of off schedule planning for me, because I started in January rather than most folks starting their MBA in August. So I've been blessed to have really like one-to-one instruction in my classes, and that's just been phenomenal. I think I've made great relationships with some of my professors. I've been speaking to one professor about potentially writing a paper with him. I have another professor who's been very involved with the company I'll work for this summer for my internship. I'm looking into doing an independent study in the fall. I mean, there's so many wonderful opportunities here with the professors, and I've just gotten so much out of it. I think with the classmates, I've gotten a fantastic experience to meet with people that aren't necessarily from Georgia or even from the United States. They may not look like me, they may not think like me. And I think that diversity of opinion has really been the main growth factor for me this semester so far. I've learned more about international business than I could have ever learned in a textbook or in a class from just working with my classmates. I have classmates from the Middle East, I have classmates from Africa, I have classmates from Asia. I mean, it's so diverse here, and I think it's really made me personally take a step back and say, okay, I really need to understand how other people think and conduct business if I'm going to be successful in this world.
Nice, very nice. So what has been some of your favorite parts of your experience so far? Whether it's curriculum, you've mentioned that you're co-writing a paper. I know you've been to an assortment of events. We're going to an event today, the Executive Forum.
Yes.
What have some been the favorite parts of the actual program and some of the highlights maybe of the curriculum and how it's impacted you?
Yeah, so I think we've had we've definitely had some great events that the school has put on for the students and for students to interact with faculty. We had an awesome event with the administration invited Greg Burkhalter, who's the LinkedIn guy, and he just gave a fantastic speech on personal branding and LinkedIn and how to use LinkedIn to your advantage. I really learned a lot from that. I think these one-to-one interactions with my professors have been, phenomenal. I've learned so much in my accounting class, my law class, and I think the professors do a really great job of just making it like so easy to apply to real life and to real business, and it's not very theoretical. I think my accounting class, we definitely get on in a lot of accounting, but a lot of it's business too. It's just like general business knowledge that you need to know to be a manager, and how do decisions that you make in a business setting affect you as a manager and affect your business. So I've learned so much. I think back to my ethical leadership class with Dr. Chapman, which was a phenomenal class. I actually took it as a night course last quarter, and we kind of finished up the class with a group activity and really gotten a chance to apply everything we learned during the quarter in a really fun activity where basically we broke off into groups. Everybody had a limited number of resources, and we had to perform an egg drop off the side of the library. And, the winning group, whoever's egg didn't break, got a boost to a paper grade or something like that. But really, it taught us how to negotiate and interact with people in our class, and everybody sort of came together and built, contraptions that worked. But we learned, and I got to apply a lot of what I learned in a real setting there.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So moving forward, you're in the full-time program. You stepped away from a career. You're in your full-time program, and obviously now you're going to look to get back into corporate America as such. So career services, we have opportunities here. What have you taken from career services? Have you used career services? And how has that impacted you as you through your previous 5 or 6 months in the program?
Yeah, definitely. I was definitely somebody that wanted to take advantage of career services early on. My first couple calls with Allison Nooks were before I even started in the program. She was very gracious to still give me her time, even though I wasn't even one of her students yet. But I told her, hey, I'm very serious about this. I want to get an internship. I want to get a great full-time job after I finish the MBA program. And, at the time, in last November and December, I said, hey, we're looking at, 6 months away from an internship, 12 months away from me finishing my MBA and getting back into the world. So in my mind, this is a short-term detour to better myself, and then I'm right back to work. So I needed her help and guidance to pursue internships, full-time positions. I think Allison has been absolutely phenomenal. I think the level of energy that she brings to the relationship with the students is so beneficial. The level of knowledge and just the willingness to help and pick up the phone and call me. I mean, we've been able to talk on the cell phone just like at an off time, because she'll pick up the phone whenever you call. And I just really love her attitude. She helped me to kind of pursue and apply for some internships and that maybe were a little bit out of my comfort zone and didn't necessarily reflect exactly with what I had done, but I'm also looking to make a little bit of a career change, right? And so she helped me believe in myself that my resume still could get me in to a healthcare company, for example, when I only have a financial background and a banking background. And we were successful in that endeavor. I'm going to be working for Teladoc this summer with their signature client management team on digital health benefits with some of the largest corporations in the United States. And I think it's a fantastic opportunity. I can't wait to start working with Allison again very soon here to talk about full-time opportunities. And I think that Moses has been fantastic as well. I've taken his professional development class this semester, and he's really helped me, look at my resume differently, look at how I interview differently, look at how I put myself out there to employers, and build a lot of that self-confidence that you need. I certainly am trying to make a jump in my career from, like a contributor and some analyst and senior analyst type roles into a management type role. And so I definitely need that push, that guidance from my staff here that like, hey, you can do that and you can achieve those things. And they've just been fantastic with that.
Awesome. It sounds like you're making the most of it. You're getting the most out of your experience here in the Stetson Hatches. So the last thing is, you've gone through the process. What advice would you give someone who is contemplating starting an MBA program, just in general?
So my advice that I'd give, maybe if I was giving it to myself last year, definitely do your research on a lot of programs, right? And understand where the certain programs that you're looking at, understand where they sit in your local community. And if you're looking to stay local, for me, I'm looking for my next role to be somewhere here in the Southeast. Well, then Mercer's a fantastic opportunity, right? Like I think that the value of the MBA still, while the knowledge you gain is of course very important, I think the connections and the prestige that you get from having those letters behind your name are really still the paramount purpose to getting the MBA. And it's all about setting you up for your next position, right? Like I'm not getting an MBA to go propel me to get my next academic degree. This is for me to move forward in my career. And so, it helps me to identify, okay, there's successful Mercer alum here in the area that I can reach out to who are inclined, potentially more inclined to take my phone call simply because they see that I have Mercer University on my resume. And so I think understanding where the programs that you are interested in kind of sit both geographically, both in industry, like I said, Mercer is a fantastic name in healthcare. And so like I'm looking to make sort of a switch into some healthcare business focus. And I think that Mercer definitely carries weight in that arena. And then also understand the value too. Like I know that I gave up my salary last year and paid a lot of money to come here for a year. So I'm taking full advantage of it. I got in touch with career services before I started. I try to, meet the dean, the associate dean. I meet people involved in student life and just get as much out of it as possible. And I think I was telling some of my fellow classmates this a couple of weeks ago, but like we pay a lot of money to be here. And so like when I'm in class, it may sound silly or cliche, but like I put my phone in my bag, silence my computer, and I sit there and I pay attention for 2.5 hours because I'm paying money to be there. In undergrad, I was very, very fortunate that they paid for me to be there, and that was fantastic and great. But now I'm taking this very seriously, and this is, pursuing a full-time MBA is like a career move. That's almost like taking a job for a year, right? So I bring the same intensity that I would to work as I do here in the classroom, and pay attention, get as much out of it as possible, and show up both physically, sit in the seat, but show up mentally too.
Thank you very much for that. So the exciting thing for me is when you get to graduate, I get to do the same conversation with you.
Okay.
And we'll see how that perspective is when you're in your future role. So Drew, thank you very much for taking your time for joining us today. And for everyone who's viewed this, thank you very much for doing it. And we look forward to talking to you soon. You'll have a good day. Thanks, Drew.
Okay.